It all starts with your recipes, doesn't it? Your success requires knowing your expected margins on every recipe. As our logo says, your menu, your money. But you also know how time-consuming and painful food costing can be. Welcome to reciProfity, accurate and pain-free cloud-based food costing and nutritionals. It's accurate because it includes the Book of Yields, the universally recognized database authority on ingredient yields and conversions. It's pain-free because we've been helping operators like you with food costing software for more than 25 years. reciProfity represents the pinnacle of our knowledge, programming skills, and understanding of your business needs. Finally, it's more than just the raw numbers of recipe margins and percentages. We take things a step further. reciProfity delivers critical pricing creep reports for inventory items and recipes. Real data, crunched to deliver just the essential costing issues that will erode your hard-earned margins. With reciProfity, you'll know your problems before they impact your overall food cost. Make it easy on yourself. Upload your vendor order guides or Excel spreadsheets directly into reciProfity to populate your inventory. reciProfity contains templates for this list of vendors, or you can upload Excel spreadsheets of vendor or your own data and create custom imports. We'll show you later exactly how this works. Once you have your ingredient pack and pricing data set, you can add and enhance your basic data. Let's take a look at the Ingredient Manager dashboard, which has inline editing. Here's salted butter. You can add groups, allergens, change the current cost, even ingredient name. We'll put this butter in the dairy group and add a milk allergen and save it. You can also edit this information in the actual ingredient edit screen. Now we'll add a USDA nutrient code for salted butter. reciProfity uses this code and its associated nutrients later when we use butter in a recipe. A major highlight of reciProfity is our inclusion of the Book of Yields with over 4,000 raw ingredients. Here's a simple example using the Book of Yields to locate an ingredient for a weight to volume conversion. You can also enter a manual conversion. And later, we'll show you a more complex use of Book of Yields conversions with shrinkage. Scrolling down, you can see space to enter packaging and pricing information for each product. If you receive this item from a different vendor, or from the same vendor in a different weight or volume, you can add as many products to this item as you want. Now, let's see what recipes use this butter. Click on Tools and Where Used. Let's look at this prep recipe for butter roasted salmon. You can see that this recipe carries over the allergens from its ingredients. We've added ingredients, gotten pricing for each ingredient, and calculated a yield cost. Scroll down for method and images for plating. Now, let's dig deeper to the serving recipe that uses this salmon prep recipe. Click Tools and Where Used. Let's go to the serving recipe. Again, you can see allergens, in this case fish and milk. This serving recipe uses 4 prep recipes for which we have a portion cost. What you really want to know is, are you making or losing money on this recipe? That's where your pricing box comes in handy. It shows your actual versus target food cost or margin percentage, your actual selling price, and what your target selling price should be. If your selling price puts you outside your food cost percentage or margin percentage, we'll highlight that in red so you can't ignore it. Let's go into edit mode and look at nutritional information. You've given each ingredient an associated USDA code. Enter the number of servings and the serving size, and we will calculate a nutrition label in accordance with the 2017 USDA guidelines, including any added sugars. Need to see all the details? We've got you covered on that too. And you can also download the label for printing. And finally, any allergen warnings are located here at the bottom of the label. Let's talk about what you've been waiting for. Analytics. That would be Recipe Analyzer, found under Tools. This report answers the questions: what do I make the most money on? What am I losing money on? And are my recipe food costs in line with my budget? There's also a recipe creep analysis. This report shows recipes that have risen by whatever creep percentage you set. Triggers for this report are a change to selling price, number of servings, food cost or margin percentage, or yield. There's an ingredient creep detector found under Tools in Ingredient Manager. This report displays ingredients that have risen in price by your creep percentage settings over whatever period you've set. Let's circle back to the Book of Yields so we can show you an ingredient with a yield that's less than 100%, like cauliflower. We purchased this item by the head, but what if we want to use it by weight or volume? That's where the Book of Yields does its work. It answers, what do we lose when we trim that head? How does this affect our cost? Are we losing more money than we know? Click Search Book of Yields button and search for cauliflower. If you purchase cauliflower by the head and then core and trim it, you'll lose quite a bit of the original product. In fact, a head that's trimmed and cleaned has a 60% yield. That's 40% shrinkage. You can see that reciProfity reprices this ingredient based on the after shrinkage price. Here are more conversions for that head of cauliflower, trimmed, cleaned, and cut into 1-inch florets. Choosing any of these prepped conversions in a recipe tells reciProfity to use the after shrinkage price in your recipe. You can see how fast and accurate reciProfity is, and what a boon the Book of Yields integration is. Imagine searching the web for this information, interpreting it, and entering it correctly. Compare that to the one-click seamless access to this essential information. Let's create a very simple recipe for roasted cauliflower so you can see how reciProfity handles preps with after shrinkage pricing. We can use that cauliflower whole, or prepped, trimmed, and cleaned, or we can use the prep for cut 1-inch florets. By choosing the prep of cut 1-inch florets, you're telling us to use the after shrinkage price on the 60% yield. Looking for some more powerful tools? How about the Optimizer? It has some robust functions to smooth out the bumps. Working our way up from the bottom, you can set a global food cost or margin percentage. But you can also override this percentage by using categories. Set a food cost or margin percentage for any category, and then when you associate that category with a recipe, we'll use the category percentage instead of the global percentage. Going back to the top of the list, if you've forgotten to add USDA codes, you can do that here without having to open each ingredient. You can also merge ingredients if you purchase the same item from different vendors or from the same vendor in different sizes, so you can compare prices. If you have multiple groups that serve the same purpose, you can merge those. And finally, the USDA database does not contain nutritional information for every single ingredient in existence. We give you a way to create custom nutrition that you can associate with your ingredients. Hey, don't leave yet. Do you want to see how we import your order guides? First, choose or add a vendor on the fly. Then choose a vendor template, either from the list of templates or create a custom Excel template. Choose the file to import. Preview the imported order guide before you upload it. Then choose all or just some items to upload. And voila! They are uploaded and have populated your ingredients database. If you're not happy, you can always click the Undo Import button and start again. And for our last piece of magic, how about a custom Excel file? Choose your vendors, choose your Excel file, and map the fields from your spreadsheet onto the reciProfity database names. You can save this template for future use. Woohoo! That was a quick tour, but we think we made our point. reciProfity is easy, accurate, and lowers your food costs without raising your blood pressure.